Today, I'm reviewing the Roccat Burst Pro Air. I was sent this mouse to keep in exchange for an unbiased review on my YouTube channel. It will not bias my opinion in any way, shape, or form. Personally, I think the target demographic for this mouse is your casual gamer over your pro gamers, as it has all-day comfort, fits a huge array of grip styles, and performs well, but not to the same standard of your prosumer mouse that costs over $100. So, let's get nerdy. Starting off with the shape, aesthetics, build quality, and performance. There are certain mice that just do it right by feeling great in the hand, making you look forward to using them. This is one of those mice. It comes with a bionic shell that covers the holes in the mouse with a frosted plastic that gives a bit of additional grip. It almost feels like a very thin layer of rubber. On the sides, you have a hex pattern that isn't there just for aesthetics, but also helps improve grip while not being overly distracting. Due to my intense grip strength, I do notice audible creaking when squeezing with very slight flex. And when I'm raging and I pause and I put the mouse right next to my ear and shake it, there is very little quiet rattle, because that's a totally normal way of reacting in that situation. With it being a symmetrical mouse, there is very little ingress on the sides. It is thinner on the front and flares on the back, with a very nice pronounced middle hump leading to a very comfortable shape. It is a medium-sized mouse that is great for claw or palm grip, and sort of kind of, I suppose, if you really wanted to, works for fingertip, but that middle hump really gets in the way, so I don't really recommend it. Comes with something called AMO lighting, which is accurate and bright, but will be hit or miss for people whether it looks cheap or not. There are 4 zones, which include left click, right click, the back hump, and my personal favorite, the scroll wheel. You can adjust each zone individually in the Swarm software, and I really like that, as having separate zones for each makes you able to really customize your mouse. The mouse comes in 2 colors, black or white, and I wish I would have gotten the white version, as I think aesthetically it looks just a bit better, but the black version fits in perfectly in a professional work environment. The Owl Eye optical sensor is excellent. It is based off the PAW3370, which is a top-of-the-line sensor, and feels snappy and accurate, making it easy to click heads, and is one of my favorites. I found that between the PTFE, shape, sensor, and weight, which is 81 grams, that it feels very well balanced. For your average gamer, 81 grams is going to be just fine. However, for me being a prosumer, it is on the heavy side when compared to the premium mice on the market that I'm used to, such as the Razer Viper V2 Pro at 59 grams, the G Pro X Superlight at 63 grams, and the Starlight 12 at 45-ish grams. If they could get this mouse between 60 to 70 grams, which I personally find to be the Goldilocks range for most people, and fix some of the cons mentioned in this review, I think it'd be a serious contender for one of the best mice on the market. However, we're not quite there. Moving on to the clicks, it comes with Titan optical switches, which means they are immune to double clicks and are rated for 100 million clicks. Uniquely, they have adjustable debounce delay, which is a new one for me, as I don't really understand why you necessarily want that on an optical switch. So if you do know, let me know in the comment section down below. Regardless, I like my options, so it's a thumbs up for me. Latency for my testing is slightly above average, but on the slower side for an optical switch, even with debounce set to 0 milliseconds, which you need to actually change inside the software manually. As stock, it comes at a higher number, which further confuses me because, like, why? My left and right click have variance and feel slightly different, with my left feeling a bit crisper than my right. Both require light actuation force. Left click has moderate pre/post travel with a light tactile bump leading to a semi-crisp but semi-mushy click. Right click has mild pre-travel, moderate post-travel, and an even lighter tactical yet mushy click. If I'm deliberate about it, they wobble ever so slightly, but are technically in a track which prevents it from being an issue. Some may think they are too thin for your fingers, but I don't think that's actually going to be an issue. First, sometimes they feel cheap and other times they feel mushy. Maybe they're just moody. I don't know. Second, the ones on my Burst Pro, which have the same exact Titan switches, feel completely different, requiring heavy actuation with extremely crisp clicks with 0 variance between left and right and mild pre/post travel. I actually mentioned that they are one of my favorite switches that I've ever felt all time because they are just that good, which makes me very unsure if Titan switches have a huge variance in what you can get, or if they have improved them to be lighter, or if I got a defective set. Overall, they feel good most of the time, and I like optical over mechanical, so I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5. I am a fan of these side clicks as they are in the ideal place and are huge. If you miss them, you should probably give up on gaming. They are very easy to press with roll click, but with dedicated clicks, you have to bend your thumb quite a bit for the rear one due to the size. Unfortunately, there is some variance here as well, with the rear one moving more than the front one and feeling less crisp. Both clicks have mild pre-travel travel, but the front one has mild post travel and the rear one has moderate post travel. They both feel crisp and satisfying while requiring light pressure to actuate, but for some reason also feel a bit cheap. The DPI button feels great, but doesn't look great, as it has DPI written in huge lettering, which kind of destroys the whole aesthetic this mouse is going for. It is far away enough that if you're using it for your DPI, you won't accidentally hit it, unless if you've got something seriously wrong with your hand or grip style. But this also means if you remap it to something else, that'll be difficult to hit in the heat of battle. It requires light actuation, has mild pre/post travel with a satisfying crisp click. All clicks are mildly/moderately loud, which can be distracting if you are in a quiet environment with others. Moving on to the scroll wheel has RGB, which to me means that it's an automatic 10 out of 10. Enough said. Moving on to the next point. Just kidding. It is excellent and I like it a lot. It has a rubber cover with lines for grip, requires light pressure, is very smooth with moderate dedicated steps, and is quieter when going down over up. The horror. Which is actually pretty status quo, so I don't really see that as a big negative. Middle mouse click requires light actuation pressure, mild pre/post travel with a satisfying crisp click that is easy to spam. Honestly, it feels great and is one of the best I've tried. Moving on to battery life, they report it lasts for up to 100 hours, which is kind of mind-blowing, and I'm not sure if I actually believe that number. Whether it lasts this long or not doesn't really matter, as it supports fast charging, where you get 5 hours of play in 10 minutes, which is a new one for me, but greatly appreciated. The only issue I have is their marketing reports 100 hours, but doesn't specify if this is with 2.4 gigahertz, Bluetooth, either, or with or without AMO lighting, which is very, very naughty of them. I haven't had much time to test the battery. On my current charge, I started at 80%, I'm now at 50%, and I've used it for about 30 to 40 hours, with half of that time being with AMO lighting at 100%. So it's firmly in the good category, trending towards the great, as assumptive math tells me this charge should last for 60 to 80 hours minimum. For reference, I find 40 hours is acceptable, anything above 60 hours is good/great, and anything over 80 hours as spectacular. Moving on to the PTFE feet, the 100% PTFE are heat treated, and due to this, they just hit different for some reason. I think part of that is because they come worn in, and I find them more resistant to abrasions. They are quite large and are rounded. They are a bit thin, which some may not like. They glide nicely and are very accurate no matter which surface I use them on, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily fast. They're more of a control type of feel, so no complaints here. Moving on to the wireless, they don't include a wireless extender dongle, and I'm all about dim wireless dongles. So obviously this is soul crushing, mostly because depending on where your PC is, you can get worse performance due to lower signal strength. But Roccat and their infinite wisdom show you how strong your signal strength is inside the Roccat Swarm software, which is something I've never seen before, and it's brilliant, I tell you. Brilliant! I didn't have any issues with the wireless, such as skips or drops. Earlier I mentioned that click latency was slower than I was expecting, but I get the same results wired or wireless, so wireless doesn't seem to be the cause. But they also report their wireless is sub 25 milliseconds, which is fine, but doesn't compete with the premium wireless options from Razer or Logitech. On the bottom of the mouse, on the left side, near the top, you have a test your patience switch, which is disguised as the toggle for 2.4 gigahertz off and Bluetooth 5.2, which is the most up-to-date Bluetooth standard, as this switch is the opposite of smooth, making it an exercise in patience every time you try. I don't like it. Granted, this type of switch sucks on every single mouse I've ever tried, so I'm not really sure if I can really complain about it or not, since it is the status quo. With big brain plays and a bit of dexterity, you can turn it off and on with a single hand, as there is a notch that your fingernail can latch onto. Below that is a toggle that goes through the 5 onboard profiles that you can edit in the Swarm software. The Swarm software is solid, as it works well and has a ton of features, but looks dated and gives strong old school gamer vibes. It's definitely in need of a facelift. My rankings include trash, bad, acceptable, good, great, excellent, and spectacular. And I also break them down in between two tiers, which is consumers or prosumers. So I'd rank this guy as excellent for your casual gamer and good/great for your prosumer, as it does almost everything above average with very limited and minor cons. It feels great in the hand. I enjoy using it. The performance is there and is arguably at the right price. Once again, I think Roccat did an excellent job making this more of a niche mouse that most people are not aware of, but is excellent nonetheless, making it an easy recommendation for me. Like, dislike, share, subscribe if you'd like. Otherwise, I will see you in your beautiful face on the next one. Peace out and God bless.